Alright, hi friends. I'm here today to talk about Queen Anne's lace. I had written a post about Queen Anne's lace last summer. So the sounds of summer. I felt called to elaborate and expand a little bit on what I had written. I'd had a very intense experience last week where I was walking out to my car and Queen Anne's lace is growing all over. Queen Anne's lace is really growing all over everywhere, but right next to my car there's a big patch, and I was walking towards my car and I just got really sudden intense tunnel vision, and Queen Anne's lace called me right in and told me that I need to share. So I'm going to do that. It's interesting because Queen Anne's lace, when harvesting Queen Anne's lace, you want to harvest the seeds, and it is in full flower right now, but there are not many seed pods happening yet. But when Spirit calls and when Spirit asks, I listen and I follow. And I'm not going to ask many questions. So some quick IDing of Queen Anne's lace. I realized that my video setup never allows for a great view of whatever plant I'm talking about. I have very poor camera skills, if you cannot tell. But many people kind of are not afraid of Queen Anne's lace necessarily, maybe, but mistake her for a few other plants, one of which being poison hemlock. Poison hemlock you don't really want to mess with. Even just touching poison hemlock, you can run into a lot of problems. But I have found, now that I have figured out the difference between the two as far as how they look, there are a lot of key factors that can help you tell the difference. So I picked one flower head. Thankfully she allowed me to. This is what the flower head looks like. It's full of hundreds of tiny flowers, and it may be hard to see, but in the center there, of course it's not going to focus, but in the center there, there is a little red dot. It's not on all of them, and some of them it looks more brown than it looks red, but that's a key way to tell if it's Queen Anne's lace, by this little center dot. It is in the carrot family. Another name for it is wild carrot. So the leaves on it, which I can pick one, the leaves on it look very similar to the top of a carrot, if you found that in a grocery store, if you grow carrots or whatever. Another way to tell is on the stem of Queen Anne's lace. You will find a lot of fine hairs. I have seen many herbalists refer to a great way to remembering how to ID Queen Anne's lace is to remember that the queen has hairy legs, because especially as you go farther down the plant, the hairs are a lot more profound and easier to see. So that is just some quick IDing of Queen Anne's lace. It's so beautiful. It rains down these little tiny flower petals all over me. And it doesn't have much of a scent. There's a little bit there, maybe a little citrusy, like a citrus rind, but not very pronounced. The spirit of Queen Anne's lace is really, really powerful, really magical in my experience. I've only personally worked with the spirit of this plant, which just kind of deepens my curiosity about why she calls to me to share about her. But the spirit of this plant is kind of a gatekeeper, a portal holder, things like that. And she kind of has this discernment quality to her where she kind of decides if the time in your life is appropriate for pregnancy, essentially. And she also has this kind of attitude about her where she promotes pleasure, advocates for pleasure, allows pleasure. Because for people who have sex that puts them at risk for pregnancy, I understand that there's a great fear around that, of not wanting to come into an unwanted, unplanned pregnancy. So Queen Anne's kind of like creates this space of allowing you to have sex for pleasure, essentially, and not have to worry about an unwanted pregnancy. So the way that Queen Anne's lace works, and I need to preface as well that me making this video is in no way trying to convince you of anything in terms of what to do with your body. I'm not trying to tell you to stop taking hormonal birth control, to stop using, whatever method of birth control that you use. I'm not saying that at all. I just find that Queen Anne's lace has been extremely prolific the past few years, and any earth worker, any herbalist, I think, can agree with me that plants show up where and when they are needed. It's a car. And unfortunately, in the United States of America, reproductive health care oftentimes, all the time, is at risk. And there's also not a lot of information out there, I find, of alternative birth control methods. So this video is just simply to share some information, to plant some seeds. I am in no way capable of prescribing a protocol. That's not what I feel called to do. If you are interested, I can refer you to some links that could help you out with that, but that's not what I'm here to do today. I'm just here to share her message. So essentially the way that Queen Anne's lace works is if one has had unprotected sex while they are fertile, while they're ovulating, the seeds of Queen Anne's lace prevents the body from producing progesterone, which is what is needed for fertilization to happen. And it's very cool because although it stops or limits the production of progesterone, it doesn't have any long-lasting effects on one's fertility, on one's ability to get pregnant. I did read somewhere that it even can help you be more fertile in the future. But it just is very safe. And when used correctly, when dosed correctly, does not have any adverse effects in your body. If a egg is fertilized and Queen Anne's lace is taken properly within a certain amount of time, it can help that egg to be released. So Queen Anne's lace has a lot of magic for us, and I think my biggest thing is just advocating for people to take their health care into their own hands if you feel called to do so, because I know that a lot of people take birth control or use various forms of birth control for many reasons outside of pregnancy planning, pregnancy prevention. So Queen Anne's lace is really just working in terms of implantation, fertilization, whatever you want to call it. And it should not be, it's not going to affect your hormones in other ways. So it's kind of like straight shoot. And this plant is everywhere. She's growing on the side of the highway. She's growing in gardens. She's growing in meadows. She's growing on hills. And I just really feel a strong push from this plant that we need her. We need her. I've also read in places that, again, I have not tested any of this on myself, but that with the right dosage of the seeds, can help to induce abortion, can help to release a pregnancy. So I think that just knowing that there are alternatives around us kind of feels like this safety net when our access to healthcare and our reproductive rights constantly feels at risk. She's just got a lot of love to give. She's pretty magic. And I think that's really all I have to share. I don't feel a lot more coming through right now. So I hope that this was helpful, informative, maybe planted some curiosity in your brain. I do sell this tincture in my shop, if you're interested. In my shop as well, with the Queen Anne's Lace tincture in the description, there are links to articles, studies, resources that tell you a little bit more about dosaging, how to use, when to use, and things like that if you're interested. I have been seeing it become more broadly available, but I don't think that enough people are utilizing the medicine. So if you're interested, you can reach out to me. I could send you some links. You could go check out the shop. The link is in my bio. I guess I'm just plugging myself now. Yeah. So I hope this finds you well. Thanks for tuning in.